Hello, dear students. My name is Bankeshwar Panigrahi. Today, we are going to discuss about FCFS scheduling algorithm. So here FCFS means first come first serve CPU scheduling. So in this session, we are going to discuss about what is FCFS scheduling and how it works in operating system, okay, and how the processes are getting executed by the CPU based on FCFS scheduling. These all topics we are going to cover in this session. Okay. So first we have to know that what is the process of FCFS scheduling for storing different type of processes within a schedule, and how the CPU will take one after another job from that schedule and execute it. First we are going to discuss this topic. So in general, in FCFS method, the number of processes are sorted in a ready queue. The number of processes are sorted in a ready queue, one after another, and the processor or the CPU selects the processes from the ready queue who may insert it first, because here it is given that it is FCFS technique, means first come first serve. That means the job first inserted inside the ready queue will execute first. Okay, so this is the main criteria of the FCFS scheduling. Again, I am telling you what is the main idea of FCFS scheduling and how the processes are getting executed. In this method, the number of processes are sorted in a ready queue, one after another, and the processor or the CPU select the processes from the ready queue who may inserted first. Okay. So it is totally independent upon the execution time of each and every process, because of different type of processes are inserted inside the schedule and they are having their own execution time, but it does not affect in FCFS scheduling. The total time taken by the CPU to execute a particular process is called as the CPU burst time. What is that? Here one word comes, that CPU burst time. So what is the CPU burst time? Means the total time taken by the processor or the CPU to execute a particular process is called as CPU burst time. Okay. So the CPU burst time is measured in terms of milliseconds. What is that? Milliseconds. Okay. So this is the topics introduction of FCFS scheduling. We may go through the notes. So first come first serve is an operating system scheduling algorithm that automatically executes queued requests and processes in order of their arrival. It is the easiest and simplest CPU scheduling algorithm. In this type of algorithm, processes which requests the CPU first get the CPU allocation first. That means the process who will first request or put a request to the CPU, that job, for that job the CPU is allocated first. This is managed with a FIFO queue, that is your first in first out queue, and the full form of FCFS is first come first serve. So as the process enters the ready queue, its PCB, that is your process control block, is linked with the tail of the queue, and when the CPU becomes free, it should be assigned to the process at the beginning of the queue. So the lesser the arrival time of the job, the sooner will the job get the CPU. Next is characteristics of FCFS method. It supports both non-preemptive and also preemptive scheduling algorithm. Jobs are always executed on a first come first served basis. It is easy to implement and use, and this method is poor in performance and the general wait time is quite high. So we are going to solve one problem related to your FCFS scheduling. Okay. So in this problem, we will calculate the average waiting time and the average turnaround time period. Okay. So let's take an example of the FCFS scheduling algorithm. In the following schedule, there are 5 processes with the process ID P0, P1, P2 and P3 and P4. P0 arrives at a time 0, P1 at a time 1, P2 at a time 2, P3 arrives at time 3 and process P4 arrives at time 4 in the ready queue. So the processes and their respective arrival and burst time are given in the following table. The turnaround time and the waiting time are calculated by using the following formulas. Okay. So these are the two formulas. Based on these two formula, we are going to calculate our turnaround time as well as our waiting time in this problem. So turnaround time equal to completion time minus the arrival time. That means the finish time of a process and the arrival time of a process. We are going to calculate the turnaround time, and the waiting time equal to the turnaround time minus the CPU burst time. Okay. So before going to start execute or solve the problem or the algorithm, first you may prepare one Gantt chart. So based on that Gantt chart, we are going to solve the problem or the algorithm. So what is a Gantt chart? Simply it is a visual view of tasks scheduled over time. Okay. So here the process ID, that is your 5 processes are there. P0, P1, P2, P3 and P4. So the arrival time is given here that, so P0 comes to the ready queue at the time 0, P1 comes to the ready queue at the time 1, P2 comes to the time at 2, P3 comes to the ready queue in the time 3, and P4 comes to the ready queue in 4. Okay. So the CPU burst time. So the CPU burst time means it is the total time taken by the CPU to execute a job, that is called as the CPU burst time. Okay. So P0 is having the execution time of 2 milliseconds. P1 is having the execution time of 6 milliseconds, and P2 is having the execution time of 4 milliseconds, and P3 is having the execution time of 9 milliseconds, and P4 is having the execution time of 12 milliseconds. So based on the process ID, arrival time and burst time, we are going to prepare a Gantt chart as given here. So first, because it is a FCFS scheduling, that's why we first check that which job comes first, that will first load into the Gantt chart or into the ready queue. Okay. So here first we may insert the P0 because it is come in the time of 0 millisecond. After that P1 comes in the ready queue, which is having the arrival time of 1, and after that the P2, which is having the arrival time of 2, and after that P3, and after that P4. Okay. So here the P0 first comes in the ready queue, which is having the execution time of 2 milliseconds. That means the execution time starts here from the P0 of 0 millisecond up to 2 millisecond, and after that P1 comes into the ready queue, and the P1 having the execution time or the CPU burst time of 6 millisecond. Here it is given 6 millisecond. That's why the processor will execute the P1 from 2 millisecond to 6 millisecond. That is your 2 plus 6 equal to 8 millisecond. That means the total CPU uses to complete the P1 job or the P1 process is 0 to 8 millisecond. After that the P2 comes into the ready queue, which is having the CPU burst of 4 millisecond. That means the CPU takes to execute the P2 job is 4 millisecond. That is your 8 millisecond plus 4 millisecond equal to 12 millisecond. And after that the P3 comes to the ready queue, and the P3 having the CPU burst time of 9 millisecond. That is your 12 millisecond plus 9 millisecond. That is your 21 millisecond. And after that P4 comes to the ready queue, and the P4 is having the execution time of 12 millisecond. That is your 21 plus 12 equal to 33 millisecond. So here in this Gantt chart we have calculated the total CPU time that taken to execute the processes are 33 milliseconds. That means within 33 milliseconds the 5 jobs are getting executed. Okay. So after that we are going to calculate the completion time, the turnaround time, the waiting time. So completion time is the arrival time. The completion time for P0 is 2, the P1 is 8, P2 is 12, P3 is 21, and P4 is 33. That is given here that completion time of P0 is 2, P1 is 8, P2 is 12, and P3 is 21, and P4 is 33. And how to calculate the turnaround time? The formula for calculating the turnaround time is completion time minus arrival time. So here the completion time is here 2 and the arrival time is 0. So the turnaround time equal to what? Completion time minus arrival time, that is your 2 minus 0, that is 2, and the turnaround time for the P1 is completion minus arrival time 8 minus 1 equal to 7, and the turnaround time for the process P3 is 12 minus 2 equal to 10, and the turnaround time for P3 equal to 21 minus 3 equal to 18, and the P4 for the turnaround time for P4 equal to 33 minus 4, that is your 29. Okay, so this is your turnaround time for the respective processes P0 to P4. Okay, then after calculating the turnaround time, we are going to calculate about the waiting time period. So the waiting time equal to turnaround time minus CPU burst time. Okay, we can put the formula here. What is the turnaround time minus the CPU burst time? Okay, so the waiting time for the process P0 equal to turnaround time minus CPU burst time, that is your 2 minus 2 equal to 0, and process P1 equal to 7 minus 6 equal to 1, and process P2 equal to 10 minus 4 equal to 6, and for process P3 is 18 minus 9 equal to 9, and the process P4 equal to 29 minus 12 equal to 17. Okay, so here it comes the waiting time for P0 equal to 0, P1 equal to 1, and P2 equal to 6, P3 equal to 9, and P4 equal to 17. Okay, so after calculating the turnaround time and waiting time, we are going to calculate the average waiting time as well as the average turnaround time. Okay, so the average, how to calculate the average? Okay, so the summation of the waiting time of each and every individual P0 to P4 processes divided by the total number of processes. Okay, that is your 0 plus 1, 0 plus 1 equal to 1, plus 6 equal to 7, plus 9 equal to 16, plus 17 equal to 33. So 33 divided by 5, that is your average waiting time, and average turnaround time is 2 plus 7 9, plus 10 29, plus 18, that is your 47, sorry, 7 plus 2 equal to 9, 10 19, 19 plus 18 37, 37 37 plus 29, that is your 63 divided by 5. Okay, so this comes your average turnaround time, and this comes your average waiting time. So in this manner we are going to calculate the average waiting time as well as average turnaround time. So how to calculate the turnaround time and waiting time? The formula for calculating the turnaround time is completion time minus arrival time, and the formula for calculating the waiting time is turnaround time minus the CPU burst time. Okay, so these two formulas are very important for the FCFS scheduling algorithm. Okay, and one thing you have to remember, in FCFS CPU scheduling algorithm, the job comes first into the ready queue that will first executes by the CPU. Okay, so this is the main funda of your FCFS CPU scheduling algorithm. Okay, next is your advantages of FCFS and disadvantages of FCFS. So it is very simple for use and it is easy, and the job comes fast into the ready queue that will get the service from the CPU fast. That is your fast come fast solve. Okay. Next, what is the disadvantages of FCFS? The scheduling method is non-preemptive and the process will run to the completion. Due to the non-preemptive nature of the algorithm, the problem of starvation may occur. So what is starvation? We will discuss in our coming classes. Okay. So for the time, only you have to remember the word starvation. Okay. Next is although it is easy to implement, but it is poor in performance since the average waiting time is higher as compared to other scheduling algorithms. So this is all about your FCFS CPU scheduling algorithm. Okay. I hope you understand, you go through it and understand it. If you don't understand or if you have any doubts regarding the FCFS CPU scheduling algorithm, then you can ask me. Okay. Thank you.